Hey guys, on today's Biz Talk, we're going to give you an episode of a podcast that I was recently on, Growth by Sabir. The host is Sabir Semerkant. This guy is an e-commerce Amazon wizard. We have a conversation about today's climate, about marketing, about how we've been able to build our business and everything we've done, everything you should do. I hope you enjoy it. Check it out.
CEO of Young Nails, manufacturer of professional nail care products. Habib joined the family business when it was still a local cosmetology supply company in 2001. It's been about 19 years now, right?
That's right.
With a unique background in music and science, Habib understands the importance of a fluid creative process and a strict organizational structure as key to a successful business in the beauty category. As CEO, his strategic vision has led the company to record growth, transforming Young Nails into a major player within the U.S. and international professional nail care industry. 303,000 plus subscribers on YouTube alone, and a ton of subscribers on all the other platforms.
Right.
And just on YouTube alone, which is your primary platform, about 30 million views. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Sabir. It's this is a huge honor. You know how much I love you and how much I respect you, man. And so for you to ask me, to be on this show, I really appreciate it. I want your hat, strictly business. That is dope, by the way.
By the way, the person who gave me this hat is going to be on the show maybe a month from now.
I love it.
This is actually a wrestling brand.
Love it.
Yeah, and he thought that it fit really. So shout out to David Lagana if he's watching, of NWA Wrestling.
Nice.
It's a wrestling brand that I was involved in its conception with him. So you're gonna hear his story a month from now about how to create a entertainment company.
Love it.
And a wrestling organization.
Amazing.
So before we. The love is mutual, by the way. I do want to say that,
Thank you.
Before we jump into 30 million views, when you started, it was zero, right?
Yeah.
It was nothing. So I want to, before we talk about that, let's talk about your origin story.
Sure.
When you got involved with, or before you even got involved with Young Nails, and this is your family business.
Correct.
Just like Spider-Man had to be bitten by a spider to become Spider-Man, you are not meant to be the CEO of a company, right?
No.
To do this. So let's start. But before you say things about yourself,
Yeah.
I want to talk about Young from Young Nails.
Yeah.
That's your mom.
Correct.
Right?
Amazing.
She's an amazing person, amazing creation here. But there's some rough patch there also in her origin story. Let's spend some time talking about that background.
Yeah. So my mom, this is a great. I think a lot of people can get a lot out of this because we hear so many times, Sabir, of people saying it's too late for me to start anything or whatever. They could be in their mid-30s, mid-40s, even in their 50s, and thinking that they can't change directions. Well, let me just say this: my mom started this business at 49 years old.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. It's insane. So I'm 46. For me to think that in 3 years, I'm going to start a business is
insane.
It's insane. And
Yeah.
she tried like 3 other businesses before that. So she like started an entrepreneurship in her late 40s and then failed and failed and failed. And she had what's called a post office, etc. store. It's like a mailbox, like a UPS store, right? And literally a guy walked in and said, I want to rent the back part of your business because it's empty. And I manufacture cosmetology kits. So will you rent it for me so that I can start my business? And then, I can help you with your rent. My mom was like, I love that business. I want in. And literally like offered to partner with him on the spot. So, when I ask my mom, why did you do that? Like, why did you even get into business? Her answer is always the same. I love a challenge. For me, business is a challenge. It's the biggest challenge. It makes life exciting. It makes life fun. I want to feel, and she just has it in her blood, man. So that's a huge inspiration, even for me, because every time I think about that, I'm like, wow, like that's really hard what she did. So she started the business. We ran into so many issues early on. Greg started with her pretty like at the same time. So she partnered with this guy. She called my brother. Greg, my brother, was going to fire technology school. He's going to be a fireman. And she's like, hey, Greg, quit fire technology school and join the family business. He did. And off they went. And at this time, I was like, I want no part of this. Like, I hate business. I don't want to sell. I don't want to do any of this. I want to just do my music, potentially go the school route. You know, I was exploring those options. I was playing the drums, playing in bands, LA, going to New York, San Francisco, doing all that thing. And then about 6 or 7 years in, you know, our family was struggling so hard financially. Like we were in the worst debt. Our house was getting foreclosed on. We were, and my mom's credit was destroyed. My brother's, my father's. My father was a mechanic, and he was literally supporting the family financially just through his business that he had. And it was extremely depressing, to be honest with you, Sabir. It was it's a very rough time in our lives. Experience that type of financial hardship, man. It's rough. And so at that time, I was like, let me see if I can help. You know, it was purely out of force. I feel like I didn't have a choice in the matter. I was like, this is my family. I have to try to help. And so I was the only one with good credit. I unloaded my credit cards at like 20+% interest and cash advance in the bank. Dropped in about $60K. I was officially in the business. And so the pressure started. It was like
every 24 days, the anxiety goes up.
Payment, got to make a payment.
Yep.
So that's how we got started. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, that's amazing. So actually, to kind of move the story forward, now, actually, before I jump into that, I want to ask you, because you mentioned Greg's name, right?
Yeah.
How is it working? Because now your mom is involved in the business, but from a day-to-day perspective, it's you and Greg. We do see Greg on YouTube. In some of the segments he does. How is it working with your brother?
It is very interesting. I will tell you, working with family is very interesting. This is something that we always say. We feel very, very lucky because for the most part, we really get along. And I've personally seen challenges with family and business. It's hard. And I know how hard that is working with family. But, and trust me, there was a period in time where my mom, like, she didn't really like me a whole lot, you know, because I was crazy. It's absolutely. And here I come in and I'm, you know, barking orders and I'm trying to get this thing organized and dialed in and, you know, trying to get us to that next level out of debt really initially. So there's a lot of battles with my mom, but with Greg, it's been an incredible journey. It's still very hard. We've really learned how to communicate with each other and how to be honest. I mean, that's really been the savior, Sabir, is we've learned how to be honest with each other and completely just transparent. This is what I want, Greg. Mm-hmm. What do you want? And Greg tells me, well, this is what I want. Okay, let's make it happen for both of us. And we communicate, we put it on the table, and that's really saved our relationship and respect for each other. But we're a great team, man. I mean, Greg does, he's just an incredible nail technician, one of the best in the world. And that was at a force too. He had to learn how to do nails, you know, and he's extremely observant and super sharp because early on in the business, man, he was at a trade show with my mom and he saw a competitor and their booth was packed, right? And our booth was not. And he was looking and there was a guy behind the table and he was doing nails for all of these customers and they were crowded. And Greg's like, oh my gosh, I have to learn how to do nails. So He
A
went
fireman doing nails.
a fireman going into nails. How insane is that? I mean, talk about like, I got to do whatever it takes to make this work, with that. He also has that grit, and nothing is below me, right? I will do whatever it takes. And so he learned. He got his license in the state of California. He got trained, and he started practicing. So today, it's a great partnership because, I do the strategic, I run the business, I set things in motion. Greg is that education, product development like master. I mean, he really gets into those. He knows what the market wants and what the nail professionals want. And he knows how to teach like better than anybody. So we're a great team. We really.
Yeah, let's address one of the dynamic because the thing is, we're three brothers also. Like I'm actually the middle child. I don't know if I have middle child syndrome, but I have an elder brother and a younger brother, right?
Nice.
I actually get along with both of them, but now I have whenever the younger one wants to say something, the older one, it's rare for him to like listen, right?
Sure.
And just because he's not getting that, the older one, when he speaks, the younger one doesn't want to listen either. Now, the dynamic between you and Greg, right? Greg is your older brother.
Yes.
And you are the CEO. Let's talk about that. Like, how is the younger one run the company and the older one has to listen to the younger one?
It's a great question. So one of the things that happened early on was I pulled Greg and I said, look, man, are you cool with me running the business? I want to talk to you about this. Like, let me take this over. You focus on teaching and sales, and that's all you focus on. And then let me focus on the ops, the running of the business, the growing, the strategy. And he was like, please. Like, he didn't even like, because Greg, this is what I love about Greg. He knows what he likes, and there's not this like, well, I'm the older brother, dude, and so I should be doing this. He was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. You're good at it. You do that. I'm good at this. I'm going to do this.
You can run to the warehouse, do the pick, pack, and ship, do the operations thing, run the company. I don't care about that. I love what I'm doing with the nail art.
Absolutely. And teaching and sales. And that was his expertise, moving a crowd, getting them pumped. That's Greg's whole like deal. So absolutely, man. This is where we like early on, we kind of knew. And so he just said, take it. And so since then I've had that role.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a great advice in that. And especially for family business owners, people who are involved in family business, that the earliest moment in time that you can have that conversation with those family members, the earliest you can have it, get that understanding. Literally, when it's 8:59 a.m. and you walk into that business, the person who's operating at the helm of whatever it is, it could be marketing, operations, CEO, CFO, whatever. That's who they are. That's their job. That's what they're doing. And then at 5:01 p.m. then they check out, then they're family. Otherwise, that, and clearly understanding the kind of the distribution of responsibilities and respecting the person that they're making that. Obviously, it's a team. So whether like if you and I are working, I know we're brothers from another mother, but
totally.
if you and I are working together, like I would, still bring stuff to you and go like, hey, Habib, if you do X, Y, Z, it's going to be good for you.
Course.
And you should be welcoming that kind of a feedback. And then at the end of the day, you are the CEO. You have to make the decision. You can listen to opinion, and then decide what you want to do.
Yeah.
So 100%. let's move forward.
Sure.
You mentioned the expo and you mentioned Greg and what happened. That's an amazing story there, right? But in order for Young Nails to become Young Nails, it is today, you had to say no to expo. You had to say no to direct marketing and print advertising and things of that nature. Can you share with the audience what happened there?
Yeah. This was a gigantic, scary transition in our company. So for like 16 years, Sabir, we built our business on expos, right? We built our business on trade magazines, mail marketing, paper catalogs, we were doing 13 trade shows a year. We were advertising 6 pages in each trade magazine. So 12 pages every month, extremely expensive. And 3 years ago, what I saw was, excuse me, our business was not growing. So we were doing all these trade shows. We were increasing the number of trade shows. We were increasing our advertising. Nothing was happening. And we started to see a very, very slight decline, which for me was almost kind of the beginning of the end. I saw that and I was like, this is not, obviously something is wrong, right? But what was the answer? That's what I was searching for. This is not it, what we're doing. We have to make a change. What's the answer? So Greg and I were coming back from a trip from, I think it was from Europe, and walking to the airport, and literally the obvious hit me upside the head. I just literally saw everybody down like this, sitting in their seats. And I was like, I just kind of hit Greg and I'm like, we got to be on digital, bro. Everything has to transition to digital. And he's like, what? Like what? Social media, everything. Yes, exactly. So I had a meeting with our marketing team, and our art director, his name is Ramon Hernandez. He was
a huge wrestling fan, by the way.
Huge Ramon. Wrestling fan, absolutely. And he was showing me all these vlogs. He's like, why don't we do something like this, to start? And he was showing me this vlog from Casey Neistat, this vlogger on YouTube, huge. And I was completely floored, man. I mean, I literally, for the next 4 days, I binge watched every single video that he had to get like a feel, because I was so convinced that was the answer. And so 2 months later, we started our own vlog. I was like, we're doing a vlog. I don't know what it's going to be about. I'm going to get the camera. I was scared, like freaked out, scared. For the 2 months leading up to the launch of the vlog, I was literally like shooting myself on my camera, and I would send it to the team, and I'd be like, what do you guys think? And they're like, yeah, interesting. Cool. But practicing speaking in front of the camera, just like practicing. Mm-hmm. And finally, I was like, we're setting a date. It's going to be the last week of February, and this was in 2017. We launched our first vlog, and it was on a Saturday. And then basically we set the dates to every Monday and Wednesday at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. I think 8 a.m. We're going to launch a vlog. And I don't care if I literally told the team, I might be in the hospital. If I get in a car wreck, we are posting a vlog.
We're doing this.
Yeah. And I don't know how long it's going to take. And let me tell you, man, it was painful because I basically stopped all advertising. I yanked all the trade shows. And that was, I got phone calls from the trade shows. They're like, what are you doing? Putting a lot of pressure on. You're going to destroy your business if you do this. You can't just yank trade shows. Customers are going to wonder where you are. Even our trade magazine partners, they both called me and they're like, what are you doing? You're going to destroy your business. You're going to be non-existent in the magazines. And I just told them, this is what we're going to do. Let's have a conversation in a couple of years, but this is what I have to make this commitment. And because what we're doing is not working. So like process elimination, get that out. And I was really scared, right? Because they were putting a lot of fear in me. I was really scared. Is all the advertising and trade shows just keeping me propped up, right? Because that's what they tell you. Mm-hmm. The answer was absolutely not. When I yanked all that, nothing happened. The business still stayed exactly, except now I was saving all that money.
Your wallet got heavier.
Well, it got heavier. I was like, I wasn't spending on all these advertising channels that don't work. Mm-hmm. So, that's how we started, and it was hard, but it was the best decision, period, that we've made for Young Nails.
Very cool. Now, let's jump into the kind of the method to the madness, right? Now let's talk about the 30 million views and over 300,000 subscribers.
Yep.
All the nail salon and nail artists, they love you. They consume your content, and also consumers are consuming your content too, because they're learning what to ask their nail artists and stuff like that. But before we jump into that, from what I gathered, there are three different pillars, right? There are shows you do by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There are shows that Greg does,
Correct.
and then there are ones with Tracy. Tracy, here's a shout out to you. Your co-host on one of your shows where you guys talk about, I think, the business side of things.
Correct.
So let's talk about the method to that, the types of content, the types of shows, so that people can learn from, it's not just one show, right?
Yes. So it's not just one show. I will say this, Sabir, when we started, it was just like we started with one pillar content, which was the vlog. Okay. Mm-hmm. We started with, this is going to be a piece of content that we run twice a week, and it's going to show the personality of the owners. You're going to get an inside peek of the company, how we run. We're going to do some nails. We're going to have some fun. We're going to laugh. We're going to be ourselves, but we wanted to show and be totally transparent. As things developed, today we have a vlog that we do once a week. We have our podcast, which is with Tracy, and we talk everything nails, professional beauty industry. We talk the nail business. We talk about challenges. We talk about, things that are going on right now with the virus. We have education pillar content. So twice a week it is hardcore, how to sculpt this type of nail, how to do this type of nail art. And then we do a couple days where we do a demo. It's more of a demonstration with music. It's a very quick 3-4 minute video, time lapsed. And so that is such the key for us to output mass amounts of content, is starting with the pillar content. The pillar content is the absolute key, the shows that we have. But to answer your question, those are the main shows that we have today, and anybody can do it. In our case, it's to break it down, it's podcast, talk everything nails. So in your business, you can do podcast, talk anything, any specialty that you want to get in the details. Education, so teaching people how to do a certain nail. So that's another one. And then the third one is vlog, which is more entertainment and inside look of the company, what is going on. And we still talk nails. Sometimes we don't talk nails. Sometimes it's just what's going on in that day. It's documenting. But those are kind of the main pillar content that we create.
So if I take a step back from that, I think it's if you think about your value chain in your business, right? Mm-hmm. And this could apply to any B2B business out there. You think about the value chain, and then there are different types of audiences you have, right?
Yeah, right.
One obvious audience in case of nail has to do with the end consumer, right? He or she wants her nails to look amazing, right? I was actually, as I was saying that, I was thinking of Dudes Like a Lady, that song.
Yeah.
I was into heavy metal when I was younger, and also hip hop too. So I don't want to upset anyone. I was one of the, that my favorite song was "Walk This Way" by Run DMC and Aerosmith.
Oh, it's great song. Tyler. Absolutely.
So just kind of a throwback a little bit on a Wednesday, not on a Thursday. So. I think if you think about that kind of a value chain, there are shows that you do that feeds literally the end consumer, even though your customer is not the end consumer. Right. Your customer is the nail salon owner that buys those things to stock their shelves when that end consumer comes in. But you're feeding that end consumer so that they can walk in and ask for young nails. They can ask for, hey, I want to do this kind of art on my nails. And then there are nail artists that are different than nail salon owners, because you can get a bench that you could work and rent and pay commission and stuff like that.
Correct.
And then you have the nail salon owners. Right. And then in that value chain also, you have, I don't know if you work with distributors that sell to nail salon stores and stuff like that.
Correct.
And then you have international distribution also, and that brings in a whole another. You literally, through your content, at least from what I have seen, you feed every one of those value chain. Yeah. Even though, because a lot of B2B business owners, they think that, I need to produce content just for the nail salon owner,
Right.
or just for my sales organization.
Right.
And then when that falls flat on its face, they go like, oh, it doesn't work for us, you know? Even though the thing is, you did not really feed content to every one of that value chain. When you do, you get results like 30 million views on YouTube.
I think the absolute key, and everything you said is correct. We do every step of the way. We do feed it, and so there's so many great things in there that you said. First of all, this is why if you're counting views and you're counting likes, it doesn't work. That should not be the metric. And the reason why is because our lowest performing, quote unquote, I say lowest performing because this is just to those metrics of views and likes on YouTube, is our podcast, okay, on YouTube. But that's because it's so specific for the nail professional, right? Consumers are going to watch that and be like, I don't
get this. Like, what is this?
Yeah, because we're talking high level salon business. When we engage with nail professionals, their number one favorite piece of content is the podcast. Period. End of story. They're like, oh my God. So maybe on YouTube, the metrics aren't great, but on Apple Podcasts, it's like, I think on Canada, in the beauty industry, we're ranked 30. In the States, we're ranked 70th in the beauty category. So it's like, you can't look at that stuff. The key to creating content for us, Sabir, is it's really in what you're saying, value. It is like, when we create content, what we think about is, and this sounds so simple, but it's really hard for so many to do. You know, it's, what am I going to create that is going to really help somebody on the other side? And I don't care about views, and I don't care about likes. I'm going to actually create something that is either going to entertain or educate them. One of those two things, one way or another. Either educate them on nails, educate them on business, or entertain them and put a smile on their face. Or entertain them with an emotional piece that, you know, if we talk about my mom or interview her, they're inspired by that. So it's about thinking of the person on the other side. When we create content, like after this, I'm heading next door and we're going to shoot 2 to 3 episodes of a podcast. And what we do, this is how we do it. This is literally, I don't know what we're shooting today. The way we do it is we head next door and we go through, okay, what are people asking for in the comments of YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, our community. We're on actually community text app too. People text questions all the time. We gather that and say, what do people want? Let's give them value. Okay, they want to know this. They want to know what happens in this situation, this salon. Perfect. You got it? Great. Cameras ready? Let's go. Shoot. And we go. And we just talk about it, you know? Yeah. Because we're passionate about it. So there's no rehearsing. There's none of that stuff. It's real. Like, this is how we feel about it. We're trying to help you. And that sets the tone. That sets the foundation for your content. And then from there, it's like, in that process, we're hitting consumers. We're hitting salon professionals, distributors, everybody. It's like, things start to really kind of unfold from there. Everything gets easier from there.
I mean, just like riding a bike, right? You're going to fall. You're going to fall. Oh, yeah. You're going to scrape your knee. I mean, it doesn't mean that, like as a baby, when we fell on our butts, you know, if we didn't get up, we won't be walking right now. You know?
That's right.
So you will fall. It's guaranteed that's going to happen. It's what you learn from it to kind of, you know, the consistency in your content to keep on practicing. Like when you hit the gym, right? You're not going to be able to deadlift, like, I don't know, 300 pounds, you know, but that's can you deadlift 300 pounds 9 months from now?
Right.
The answer is, yeah, it depends on if you did it every day and you slowly went up and up and up and up. I mean, there's a long, there's a fable about this a young woman. She would actually carry her little lamb on her shoulder, right, and climb up a hill, right. And then that lamb kept on growing and growing, and she kept on, you know, putting it on her shoulder and kept on climbing up. And she just made a name for herself that, you know, here's a woman that can, you know, now she was a young lady now, She can carry a giant lamb on her back, and even adult males can't do that.
Right.
So it's that story. Like the consistency is so important.
Well, to make your point. Exactly, make your point, Sabir. When we started with YouTube content only, okay, 2 videos a week. And it took me 12 to 15 hours to edit one video, shoot and edit. I mean, it was excruciating. It was so hard because I was learning how to edit too, and I didn't have anybody. I didn't have a team. I had to do it myself. Yeah. For the first 9 months, I was literally getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night, sometimes less, because I was just struggling to edit, still posting. And we actually saw a decline in our subscribers on YouTube initially. It was like people were like leaving. They're like, what is this? Who is this guy? What are we doing? We saw no impact on sales at all until September. So it took us 9 months, what you said. It took 9 months. In 9 months, we were like, whoa, we saw a boost in sales. And we thought, is this a fluke? October, boom. It kept solid growing. And then we were like, oh my God, this is working. But to your point, it took time, reps. And now it's like, I mean, we have a team today, but we know how to create mass amounts of content and shoot fast, edit quick. So we've grown the lamb. It's gotten lighter. We're able to manage. So it takes time.
Yeah. Well, so actually one story that came to my mind is, I because I consult with so many clients and help them through not just e-commerce, but also content and strategy related to content. They always ask me, like, what if the lighting is wrong, the equipment is wrong, and this is wrong, and that's wrong. And the one story I tell them, I go like, Gary V, episode 1, wine library, watch it. Like, you see him producing all this content. He's well known for what he does, right?
Right.
So go back to the beginning, his origin story, his first episode. His dad walks in and gives him a dirty look like, what are you doing? Right? And then, like, disappointed, he leaves.
Yeah.
Gary is stuttering on that video. You can barely hear him. The lighting doesn't look good. It doesn't matter. If you are creating good content and you have that consistency, you will become. I mean, you've been at it for a long while now, right?
Yeah.
But that first one, talk to me about hating the camera, hating your own voice when you heard it back.
Oh,
right?
It was real. It was real. I was terrified. I didn't. And here's the other thing too, Sabir, is my brother, Greg, he had been the front guy for the entirety of our company, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't go to Greg and say, hey, man, start doing vlogs, bro. Like, get a camera and start recording yourself and then, walk around the company and talk about it. He's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? So I had to do it, and I was terrified. It's, I spent a couple months making small videos. I spent time on YouTube learning how to edit, downloaded the software. It was I was terrified. I bought some Canon cameras. You don't need them. I got them for the vlog. They're very reasonable. I had no insane lighting equipment. I just turned it on and started shooting and went and posted. And yes, I was terrified. And the comments that I got were awful. People were.
Why are you on YouTube? What are you doing?
Why is Greg's brother? That's the one that used to get me so mad. People would be like, hey, Greg's brother, why don't you leave that to him? Please, we don't care what you think. I mean, I've had awful comments, man. But here's the thing, Sabir. My belief in, if I don't do this, my company is over. That belief was real. There was enough fear in me to where it motivated me, like, ignore the comments. You have to do this, bro, or else your company's going to be gone. You're going to be outdated. Your employees aren't going to be able to have a job. Your distributors are going to be out. So that little amount of fear was like, I got to just keep at it. And I understand that too. Being in business for a while, like, I know what that means.
This is actually a very, very typical thing that I hear. So when I put out these content strategy and schedule for my clients to follow and do, right? because in my interest is not necessarily content production. My interest is how content strategy feeds e-commerce revenue and revenue growth for companies. So that's I'm the end consumer. I care. Jerry Maguire, where's the money? Where's the money? I want to do everything that has to do with money. I know that it leads to money, right? Yeah. So that's what I focus on. I'm running a business. This is a typical thing I hear. Yeah. I'm running a business. I don't have time for all this, Sabir. You're asking me to produce how many videos every week? Like, are you insane?
Yeah. Once upon a time, I thought the same thing. And I really believed that how can this be as important? I mean, Tracy and I used to have this conversation. We're like, dude, if you're spending all your time on Instagram, you're not running a real nail business or any business. And I thought the same thing for my business until I didn't have a choice, right? This is what I can say. The importance is so huge on posting and creating content consistently every day. It's so important. It is just as important to me today as making sure our products get shipped out the door. Like, it's as important as our finance department. That's how serious I am about content. And you recognize the importance when you start to see the results of what it's done to your company, what it's done to our company. It's transformed us completely into an e-commerce machine, where today we are not dependent on anybody. We are dependent on ourselves. We built our own customer base. We built our own audience. And we still, of course, have distributors, and I love our distributors, and we're lucky to have them. But it's a different ballgame when, like, now I feel like we're in control because we have our own direct audience and built that. That's important. The way you do that is through content marketing, and that does impact your e-commerce business. Having that branding content running daily, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, community, YouTube, Snapchat, LinkedIn, having all of that going to complement your e-com, it's the best thing that you can do for your business. So you have to take it seriously. You have to.
Cool. So the later part of what I said earlier, how often do you want me to post, Sabir? Are you insane? I don't have time for this, Yeah. So what does that number look like when you're starting the journey, we're in the middle of the journey, and where you are right now in your journey?
So in the beginning, it was, I'm going to post 2 YouTube videos a week, and we're going to post once a day on Instagram. Okay. And that was it was law. So today we post 60 to 70 pieces of content a day on all of our platforms. Okay. And when I tell people, they're like, that's impossible. How do you do that? Mm-hmm. Well, it starts with one. On Instagram, we started 1 post a day and 2 videos a week on YouTube. And that was really, really hard. So we were posting 1 to 2 pieces of content a day. Because back then Instagram stories didn't even exist. So, and then we would double up on Facebook. So it was like 1 to 2 pieces of content a day with YouTube videos running twice a week. And that was really hard. So start with that. That's where you begin.
That's your pillar content.
That's your pillar content. Exactly. Yeah. How do we get 60 to 70 pieces of content a day? Well, first of all, we learned how to become more efficient in creating content. The more you do, the better you get at it. You learn how to create content. But outside of that, strategically, the way that we create so much content is we take the pillar content, right? And this is like so important. We shoot that, typically now I think we used to shoot on Mondays. We shoot on Wednesdays now. We shoot it, cut it, post it to YouTube. Then what happens is we go through it and we slice up that video into little clips, like 30-second to 1-minute clips. We take those and those get reposted on Instagram stories, Facebook stories, in our community, Snapchat, everywhere. And then what we do is I have somebody that transcribes the entire episode. And that's a blog. So that then gets shifted and that becomes a weekly blog. And then what we do is we go through the blog and we pull out one-liners, two-liners, and those become tweets. So very quickly, out of one piece of content, you can get 15 to 20 posts by shooting once, editing once, the main one. And then you got to go in and create what we call micro content. That micro content is just reposted on all of these platforms. That's how you get volume. That's the most efficient way to do it.
So here, what I would like to do is I want to give a shout out to Gary Vee, right? Gary Vee's a brother of ours also, right?
Yeah.
From another mother.
Absolutely.
Right? We both know him and respect him and everything. So he has published, if you head over to GaryVaynerchuk.com, he has published his method to his madness, which is the Gary Vee content model. It's free to download. I think it's like 86 pages or something like that.
Yep.
But it starts with that pillar content. It's something that in my journey with This Week with Sabir, I'm not there yet. So I'm working towards it.
Totally.
But taking this 60-minute interview and taking it and splitting it, I could come up with 128 different pieces every week.
That's
and then
right.
it could go out. And that's how you can get, like, there's a lot of nuggets that we have shared. I mean, we're 40 minutes into this now, right? So we have those 40 minutes literally could be 40 pieces of content.
Easily.
If I take just the audio clips, that's one. Video clip, that's now 80.
Right.
Now, if I take it and put it on a meme, right, that's another 40. That's 120.
Yep.
And I can keep going like that. I can keep going with those kind of things. And then if you just, the multiplier effect gets in. Now, all of a sudden, I have 500 pieces of content from 60 minutes of an interview that we did. I mean, it doesn't have to be 60 minutes. It could be 5 minutes. You might be, like the content that Greg puts out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Short. However, you could take an image of one high-res image of that one thing that he did, just a nail art, and then it could point to the 5-minute video that you could go and watch.
Correct.
And so on and so forth. So you just have to think about those kinds of things.
Well, it's what we do. I mean, what you're saying is actually what we do, and it's how we get 60 to 70. So everything you're talking about.
By the way, I'm a mind reader too.
I know
because that's the best practices. That's the right thing to do. That's why it's the truth.
Totally.
For the people who are focused on going back to the question of, I have a business to run, I don't have time to be producing. I mean, even if you produce the 5-minute and I put it out, right, 5 minutes or 60 minutes. I put it out once a week.
Yeah.
How do I create these 120? I don't have a team of people. I don't have web designers and social designers and creative social whatever type of roles in my organization. So how do I handle this volume of content?
So you have to just start. I know this is like, people are like, come on, is that really the answer? Yes, this is the answer. You have to just start doing it. I had no experience. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, Sabir, and it started with just doing it. And I love when people say, I don't have the time. Like, I really don't have the time. This is what I found out through creating content. I have so much time in my day when I'm focused and when I'm efficient with my time. For example, I realized, like, when I was creating content, I didn't have a choice. I had to fit it in, and then I had to run the business, and I had to deal with issues, problems, legal, finance, market, all this stuff at the same time. What I did was I became a time management ninja. I mean, I literally was like, okay, 8 to 8:15. Okay, I got 15 minutes. Let me go hit finance real quick. Boom, go talk to them. Good. Okay, great. I'm out. Next, I got to head to the warehouse, see what problems they are. It's like no wasting time. What's the issue? Here's the solution. Let's go. Boom. Next. So I became so incredibly efficient that what I found was I had so much time to create. Most people don't realize how much time they're wasting in the course of a day. And it's incredible. Like, that's one of the biggest things that I got out of the last 3 years of creating so much content is how to operate on a completely different level of efficiency myself with my time. So the time is there. If you sit down and actually plot it and plan it, stuff should not take as long as it's taking. And you can chop it down, and then you can basically say, okay, I need an hour to create one video. I'm going to need 2 hours tonight to edit. And that's what I was doing. I'd go home, put the kids to bed, and then from 9 to 1 was my editing. I just carved the time out and got it done.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a productivity hack here, and I don't know if you would agree with it. I try to eliminate got a minute. You got a minute?
Yeah.
Habib,
yeah.
I got to talk to you about got a minute?
Yeah.
I try to eliminate that from my professional life as much as possible, right? Instead of giving you a minute, I would rather give you 15 minutes or 7 minutes,
right?
But have an in-depth conversation about that thing that we want to talk about, because that 1 minute is one question. Why don't you go back, come up with 7 to 10 questions? Let's set 15 minutes apart and like really dive in deep. Into that thing,
That's so smart. The got a minute is such a time killer because you're not really getting anything accomplished except you're burning, not 1 but probably 5 minutes. And now
you're pivoting too. You're going on a tangent. Your thought process was to do this. Now you're going over here, and then for you to come back to here again, that's going to take you time again to come back to it.
Exactly. Totally agree.
So. There are like, I don't know, 20,000 different platforms now, right?
Yeah.
Where do I focus? If I'm starting out, where do I focus? Where do I publish my content? Where do I produce it? So I got the clear message. Forget about the followers. Forget about the views. I'm focused on the platform.
Yeah.
Where do I go from here?
I still think today Instagram is probably a good place to start. Because you can do pictures and short form video, and you actually can do long form video and just upload it into IGTV and have it on your main feed. I think Instagram is a great place to start posting. Like I need to post once a day, and what I'm going to post is something either education based or entertainment in some way, shape, or form. Like it's going to be value. So it's not, look how cool my awesome product is, or look how, like a picture of me, like in the light and I look cool, owner, CEO of Young Nail. Like give value, like teach them something, like whatever you service your business offers or whatever you guys do, show them how to do it. That's huge. So I would start on Instagram. If you are wanting to get into long form content, where you need like a podcast, for example, and you post it on YouTube, or anything that you need to teach somebody is going to take 15, 20, maybe an hour, YouTube is definitely the place to go. That is like education central. Anytime people want to actually learn how to do something, like what I had to do this weekend and fix my washing machine, I went to YouTube and it was like, boom, was able to clear the filter out.
How do I fix my washing machine?
How do I? And that's a lot of, one of the biggest things is YouTube is actually just a huge search engine, right?
Number 2 in the world, by the way.
Yep. Totally makes sense, man. So long form content, YouTube, Instagram. If you have Instagram, you can double up, connect, and automatically post on Facebook. It's 3 platforms right there. I would say as a starting point, if you produce no content, start there and don't overwhelm yourself. And then eventually, obviously LinkedIn and TikTok are big. LinkedIn right now in the business community. If you're B2B, probably I would start on LinkedIn just because it's the reach and the organic reach as well as the opportunity here versus like an Instagram is probably going to be better for you. That's my personal opinion, but and then obviously later you can maybe add TikTok, Snapchat also as you grow. Don't start all these at once. Start Instagram, LinkedIn, maybe depending on your vibe, and then you can start to branch out to the other platforms. I mean, that's what we did. We started on YouTube and Instagram. That's what we started on. Facebook, and then we added Instagram stories, Facebook community. We added TikTok, we added LinkedIn, we added Snapchat, and then we added our texting platform community. So, but that's all with time. As we got good and efficient, we were able to just fold other platforms in, and then the content just flowed out without really any additional work.
But the original content, even today, I think it's for YouTube, and then syndication and distribution is all the other platforms.
That is
correct. And then also
correct.
cutting it up into different pieces.
100%. It is YouTube. Our pillar content really is there, and that's always been. We actually started YouTube a long time ago in like 2009, but we weren't very active, and then we really got active like 3 years ago, and that's when things just went crazy.
I mean, it's hard to believe, but in 2008 and 9, some of these social platforms either did not exist or they were in their infancy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
so,
crazy.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there are platforms that have come and gone. R.I.P. Vine, right?
Oh yeah, Vine.
But the next iteration of Vine became Musically, that became TikTok. You know,
exactly.
So I think the landscape does change, and then as you you know, you have to stay on top of it to kind of understand those things. And experimentation, I think, don't be shy or afraid of experimentation. You can fall flat on your face. It doesn't matter. Like, at least from my perspective, what I believe in, you have successes, which you can take and you can amplify them. And then anything that people call failure, not necessarily failure. They're like, it's the 10,000 things that you did do that it didn't work. That's fine. There's 10,001. I mean, if people like Con Edison and others, you know, I mean, Thomas Edison, not Con Edison. I mean, I'm from New York, so Con Edison is a company that delivers utility. But Thomas Edison, if he believed that, I failed 9,999 times, we would not have electricity. We would not have all of this stuff, you know, that we have right now. The very thing we're doing right now, you know.
Yeah,
or Tesla or any of those guys, you know.
Man, I tell people this all the time, and a lot of times they don't believe. Actually, what we do mostly on these platforms, Sabir, is experiment. It is
every single day with every content. Yeah,
it is so experimental. And if you actually go through our Instagram page and YouTube, you'll see the transformations of like thumbnails and like titles and how it changes. We're constantly experimenting, which is such a better way to do it. Even this weekend, I was trying new TikTok content. I'm like, let me try this. One of them did really well. One of them just completely tanked. And I was like, got it. Cool. Thanks. Now we know the direction to kind of go, you know, because things are changing so fast on these platforms. You have to try new things constantly. So
with social digital e-commerce, everything is numbers driven, and math is the truth, right? So if it tells you that, this piece, with the algorithm of the platforms and everything, I got it, right? Got you 1,000 views, right? Versus this other one that you did got you, I don't know, got you 10 views or whatever.
Right.
Or better yet, the 1,000 views actually generated, 200 likes.
Right.
Right. Those are all votes.
Right.
Especially if you're on the e-commerce end of it, that voting also is with people's wallets. You know, they're taking their credit cards out and voting. Giving you $1 for every visit that they make. So for me, there's an e-commerce metric called session value. Mm-hmm. Literally, it's your revenue divided by the number of sessions you get. I consider that to be one of the best metrics for e-commerce KPI. It's not conversion rate, right? I look at that number, and when I see that, okay, let's say on average I'm getting $2. That's very productive traffic and very highly qualified traffic I'm bringing to my business.
Right.
If that $2 one weekend because of something I did drops down to 89 cents,
that's a problem.
It's a problem. I know that. Okay, that it's like, you know, people showed up. 99% of them left in 1 second.
Yep.
Was it worth it? You know.
Well, this is I love that metric, man. You know why? Because it really tells you, are you driving the right people to your site? Period. End of story. If you have a higher, like you said, $2, you know you're driving the right people and ultimately they're purchasing versus the 89 cents. It's like, what type of advertising campaigns or what type of campaigns in general, content-wise, are you doing to drive people? You're obviously not hitting the right target. That's a huge flag right there. I love that. That's it. I'm gonna use it. Thank you.
I mean, I had one client a while ago. I asked them to actually shut down. This is a true story, right? I asked them to shut down their Facebook advertising completely. Go like, what are you talking about? It drives so much traffic, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, I just looked at your analytics. Took me like literally 2 seconds to look at it. 99% of your traffic is leaving under 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's not working, but it brings traffic in, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, your creative is not connected to exactly what you're selling. So people are not getting it. They're not getting it.
Right.
Like, but people show up. What if I turn it off? People are not going to show up. I said, turn it off. I don't think anything is going to happen.
Yep.
But all this traffic, I said, look, I'll give you another analogy. If a house is on fire, all the neighbors do show up to see how fast it's going to burn down. Right? You're right now burning down your house, meaning that literally you're giving cash. You could literally go on top of your building, bring a barrel of cash and just keep on throwing it out like that. That's what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
So he actually ended up, this was the founder and CEO of the company. He ended up actually shutting it down. I checked in with him 2 weeks later. He goes like, Sabir, nothing happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's not nothing happened. Your wallet is heavier.
It's heavier.
Right? So you're not wasting money. Your CFO doesn't have to go to the bank to loan money to give to Facebook because it was not working.
That's right.
So it's fine. And actually, he goes like, I'll tell you another crazy thing. I said, I'm ready for it. Go for it. Revenue increased.
Yeah.
I go like, no, it explains it to me. Like, you're throwing 99% of traffic that's a throwaway at your infrastructure, people who don't care. Now, the 1% that actually care are getting poor service.
That's right.
So when you remove them, those people actually experience the site the way there was no slowness or whatever performance issues that you could think of didn't happen, right? And they gave you the money. They wanted to give you the money, but you were throwing all these other people to the mix.
Right.
It was just not worth it, right?
Yeah.
So knowing that qualified traffic, like it's not the number, it's the quality of traffic.
That's right.
And it is a patience game, which brings me to the next question, right?
Yep.
In my view, there are two types of content that you would produce in case of B2B. One is and this has to do with e-commerce and revenue generation, right? One is an active content. The other one is a passive content. The other term I use is delayed gratification. Okay. I don't know if you like that phrase.
Sure.
Delayed gratification. You're not getting money now. You're eventually going to be getting money.
Right.
You know? So an example of active would be like the flash sale type of videos you do, right? Hey, we have this sale coming up this weekend, July 4th. Boom, we're putting this thing on. Maybe it's an inventory issue you have. Maybe it's a product launch you're doing. It's 70% off, 40% off to just get the introduction out there so that you can get adoption, right? Versus you have passive, which is all the other content that you produce, 98% of your content that gives you the kind of long-term benefit, the delayed gratification as you're building up your brand awareness, and then that leads to revenue, and that's a more sustainable model in the long term.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. We just call it differently. I call it like our branding content and our sales content. So passive and active. It's really the same thing. This is kind of the key. When we're running our passive content, branding content, the active content or the sales content performs so much better. So, because we spend all this time branding, giving value, helping, constantly giving away, showing people what to do, how to use the product, how to do these nails, blah, 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 blah. When we then finally run the active content, the buy this now, 40% off, oh my gosh, it just converts so much better because they're not annoyed by it because we've been giving them value content, branded content, the passive content for so long. The 3 days out of the month that we are like hitting them with that active sales content, they're like, awesome, and they go in. So that combination is absolute key. It's why our active content works so well, is because of the passive content.
I mean, it's similar to when you walk into either a family get-together, a party somebody invited you to, right? You're not going to go in there and start screaming, I have a car to sell you because I run a car dealership, right?
Right.
It's extremely a bad form, to do that. But I'm giving you an example here, right? Versus if you say, hey, what do you do? What about your family? Blah, blah, blah. And then you have that, oh, what do you do, Habib? Oh, I run a car dealership and we focus on minivans. Yep. Oh, I have a family and I have a small car now and I'm thinking of getting a new car. Totally. It's just that when you build that conversation leading up to that very passive way of asking, and then
Yep.
it could become very active, right?
Yeah.
And then it builds your trust and credibility. You cannot just go in and go like, hey, who wants to buy a car? I'm
Yep.
here to sell you a car. But
That's right.
you're attending a party here. It's a social gathering,
Yep.
you know?
Instead, actually, like that's a great example. Like a great example of branded content would be that person walking in and going, talking to people, and somebody's looking for a car, and you go, oh my God, this is what you should get. You should really get this wherever you go to buy. And this is why. Make sure you do this. Make sure you ask these questions at the dealership. Make sure they're not doing this to you. Make sure, and you're actually helping them. What are they going to say? How do you know all this? Oh, this is actually my business. Oh, well, I want to work with you, because it's genuine. So that's a great example.
Very cool. So now this is going to be the hardest pitch of the game, right?
Sure.
What is your $100,000 advice for nail salon owners, nail artists? I mean, think about that value chain. But I don't want to keep it within your business, because your model and blueprint actually works really well
Everywhere.
We have a mutual friend in the dental laboratory business who's also
Right.
in. Shout out to Sasha at Harvest Dental. Like, I think he did say that he's in California just like you. And thank you, by the way, for waking up so early to be part of this in California. So he did say that, he did promise me that he was watching this live.
Awesome.
And also other B2B business owners. I know that Sasha does have conversations with you related to his business too, and you do provide that sort of a friend and mentorship to others. What does that $100,000 advice look like? But to throw a curveball at it, not everything is success, right? You do learn from your failures. So when you give me your response and actually your advice to all of these different parties, tell me what works and what did you learn from the things that didn't work, and let's share that.
Sure. Here's the biggest thing that not just nails, we talk about this in nails all the time, but any business has to start doing. Literally, you get off of this show and you start doing it now. Start creating and posting content today, and make it a goal of for the next 365 days, I'm going to post once a day, and just do it. No matter what it is that you post, do it and start to build the muscle of creating content. People would be like, that's create content. That's the advice. Yeah, that's the advice. You know why that's the advice? Because this has literally been solely responsible for our company exploding in the last 3 years. We have exploded. Our growth has been larger. I mean, it's out of control, okay? This is solely because of content marketing on a consistent basis. Now, don't do what I did in the beginning, which was I started shooting random stuff, not even nail related, okay? And then I learned very quickly, okay, there should be some nail information since we're a nail company. So
Greg's brother, get off the video.
Get off the videos, exactly. Just have it focused and just remember, have it focused to your business and just remember, you've got to focus on value, giving value. Think about what would help the person on the other side. And I'm telling you, if you do that today, and if you start, and if you do it consistently, and you have the vision of I'm gonna branch out to all these channels in 3 years, I'm gonna have a podcast, not thinking about views and likes, you will transform your business and your life 100%.
Habib, thank you very much for being part of this. I think all the content and all the advice, recommendations, the blueprint, the Young Nails blueprint you shared with people, I think it will become. I think I've been seeing a lot of comments here from Danielle, who says super helpful and really inspiring. Thank you for sharing this. Ben, we both know, Ben Bonard, he says that you're relentless at asking questions. If you don't understand, you don't pretend to not understand something. You ask questions and stuff.
Absolutely.
So we've been getting a lot of great comments here and things of that nature. So I did put up this website, youngnails.com is how people can check out your business. If you're especially in the nail business, nail salon business, you should definitely check that stuff out. Throughout the program, we've been sharing. This is all the content that he puts out, Habib puts out. Anything else, or this is generally on all the other platforms?
Yeah.
Is you're at Young Nails Inc.
It's the same. It's the same throughout all the platforms. That's the handle. And I just want to say, Sabir, thank you, honestly, because thank you, and then also huge thank you to Gary V and VaynerMedia. They have been, and you have been, instrumental in our transformation and growth, and so very appreciative, man.
Yeah, brother. When this COVID-19 is over, I'm going to make a trip out to California to visit you and Sasha and a few other people.
Can't wait.
On the West Coast, so that's going to happen soon.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Thank you for joining us, everyone. And thank you, Habib. And much luck to you and much success to you so that you can 10x the business even from where you are right now.
We're on our way. Thank you.